going to try this again. I never, ever, ever get phone calls on my cell phone, and boom, somebody called on my cell phone, and for some reason it completely clicked us off. So guys, I am so sorry about that. Thank you again for those who are joining me right now. I appreciate you coming back, and hopefully we'll have some more people find us and jump on. But today I am showing you how to make the small Navette Christmas tree. Now, the small Navette Christmas tree will make an awesome earring or pendant or whatever you want. You can also make the larger tree, which will be in tomorrow's video. All right, tomorrow's video is filmed, so we won't have to worry about if somebody calls my cell phone and completely knocks us off. But I'm going to kind of come through it a little bit quick just because of the fact that a lot of you who are watching have already seen this part. I'm going to be using the Wildfire today in the green color. This one is a really good color to use with these trees. You are going to need 10 Navette beads, which we will talk about. You are going to need 1 bronze Navette bead. You're going to need 1 gram of a size 11 seed bead, a little assortment of 3mm bicones. It can kind of be whatever you want. And you're going to need 3 size 8 seed beads. Now, I do have the pattern for sale. This is the small tree and the large tree. All right, so there are 2 versions of this on my website. I have the small tree and the large tree because they are 2, although they're similar, they're 2 very different patterns. So just be aware of that. So I am gonna flip the camera around, so if you get motion sickness, just please look away for just a moment while I flip the camera around here. Okay, and again, guys, I apologize that we had to start over. I don't know. So these are the trees that we are doing today, and I want to kind of show you the colors and the sizes. So this one is jet suede gold is actually the color they call this, but you can see it has like an olivey green color to it. It's a really nice color to it. This version here is called cardamom. I really like this color just because you see more of a variegated green color on this one. And then the one that I'm going to do in today's video is this full vitriol finish on it. So it's a really nice color to use. Now, just so that you'll kind of know here on your sizing, your small tree is about 2.5 inches. So if I flip it over, you can see there in the centimeters. Your large one is going to be here in inches and here in centimeters. So that'll kind of give you the idea of the sizing. So the biggest thing you need to know is you need to look at your holes, because I found that out. Look at your holes and make sure you have open holes on your Navettes. So you can see this is a Navette if you've never seen the bead before. This year I've used this bead quite a lot in my videos. It has 3 holes. So if I stick my needle through this hole, you'll see it has a bottom hole, it has a middle hole, and it has a top hole. So we're mainly going to be threading through and stitching through these bottom and top holes. We are going to use the middle holes, but not when we actually pick up the bead. So if you pick up the bead, make sure to pick it up from the bottom or the top. It does not matter. Now I have one bead here that's a different color. I have a bronze bead. This is going to be this little base of my tree here, whereas everything else is going to be that same color. So on the pattern itself, if you get the pattern, the bronze Navette is labeled B as in boy, N as in Navette. The green one here is called a green Navette or a GN. So even though I'm using a different color, I'm still going to call these green Navettes just because it goes with the lingo of the pattern. So I've got my needle with 2 yards of thread, and I'm going to thread a size 8 seed bead on, and I'm going to bring it down, and I'm going to leave about 4 inches 3 to 4 inches. We just need enough that we can get rid of the tail in just a little while. And I'm going to take my needle and I'm going to go back through that bead again so that it becomes my stop bead. All right. And I had somebody ask just a few minutes ago, and when we were live earlier, could they use a different bead in place of this? So you should know that the Navette is a little bit, I'm looking for my, there it is. It's a little bit of a larger bead. So you can see here, it's about 1/2 of an inch. And the shape of it makes it a little bit hard to be able to incorporate it and use other beads. But there's a lot of people who already have a Super Duo Christmas tree out. So if you wanted to, you could definitely check out somebody's video or pattern for a Super Duo tree if you don't have Navettes. So I've laid my beads out the way that I want them to look here on this base part. So I've got my stop bead on. And I'm going to pick up a Navette, a green Navette, a size 8 seed bead, a green Navette, a brown Navette. So this is the one different color we're going to put on. A green Navette, an 8, a green Navette, and then I'm going to come up here and I'm going to grab some of these 11 seed beads and I'm going to pick up 3 of those beads. Now I'm going to let these drop all the way down. Okay, and it just so happened that they kind of fell down exactly like I needed them to be here. So you can see, hopefully see that a little bit better now. Okay, so I have my greens and then I have my brown here. Now this is where we're going to use those middle holes. Now like I told you, we're going to do a lot of zigzagging in this project. So I'm going to take my needle and working back in the other direction, I'm going to go through these 4 Navettes. So 1, 2, 3, and 4. And I went through the middle holes there. So if I put my finger on, Mama is on. Hello, Mama. I'm going to pull it like this. Now, if you pull this super tight, instead of your beads sitting straight up and down like you want them to, they're going to stick out like this. So make sure that your beads sit straight up and down. So don't pull with a death grip. Just pull enough to pull these beads through. So this is not a good project to do if you are stressed at work or you are mad at somebody or something like that, because you will definitely pull it too tight and it'll be a hot mess. So I'm going to pick up 3 of my 11s and working back the other direction, I'm going to go through the bottom row of beads here, just straight through. Now this is where a straight needle comes in really handy. If you're like me and you like to reuse your needles and they're a little bent like this, it doesn't work out as well trying to go straight through. So just know that. So I'm going to go straight through. Again, I'm going to put my fingers on it and then pull the thread through. This kind of just helps everything to stay in place. Now you'll remember I did not go through that stop bead. You want it to kind of pull down just like this, so you're good to go. Now we're going to do that little step up. So I'm going to go up through the 3 11s here and then straight through my row of Navettes. So I'm just going to flip it just because it's a little bit easier. You can also flip it down this way. Whichever way you want to work it is going to work out the same. And then I'm going to go straight through the holes here of the Navettes, the middle holes, the ones we've already been through. So as we do this, we're working kind of like in a modified right angle weave. And as we work that modified right angle weave, we're also reinforcing. Oh, I see my friend Joy is on here. Hello, Joy. Wow, it's like 7:30 your time, friend. What are you doing up so early? And Bonnie was on here earlier. She's in Hawaii. That's even more. So my thread's coming out here. I'm going to pick up 3 11s, and we're going to do a step up. So I'm going to come up through the top hole of the same bead that I'm coming out of. Hello to everybody who is joining me today. Okay, so I've got it just like this, and now we're going to pop in some Navettes. Katarina says she is eating dinner. She is over in the Czech Republic. So yeah, it is dinner time for you. Again, I'm going to check the 3 holes. Well, Bonnie, thank you for getting up and being with me at 5:30 a.m. I appreciate that. So I have 3 of my beads. Again, I've already checked the holes in it. So I'm going to pick up 1 bead. And again, we're going to pick up an end hole, not the middle hole. Pick it up and I go straight through the next bead here. And when you do, make sure it stays straight in there. Pick up a navette, go through the open hole of the next navette, and pick up a bead and go through the next one. Now this is the joy of having this having to redo this, because in the previous live that I was working on earlier, I did exactly what I told everybody not to do. I did not check my holes, and one of them was plugged, and I had to pull it all apart. So do as I say, not as I do. All right, so I'm coming out right here. You can see I have 6 seed beads here, so I'm going to need that on the other side. So I'm going to have to pick up 3 more size 11 seed beads, and I'm going to come back down, and I'm going to go through those center holes again of this same Navettes that I'm coming out of. So that now we have a completely symmetrical sides here. Roxanne says that she will be in North Carolina next month and she hopes to see me. Roxanne, please make sure to shoot me an email so I can make sure to be here or let you know if I will be here when you come through. So now we're going to do a little step up. And again, we got to go around the whirl. We're doing a modified right angle weave almost. But we got to do these step ups so that we don't see threads sticking up anywhere. So I'm going to go through the 3 11s right here where my needle's coming out. And then I'm going to go straight through this row of beads. So I'm going to go through 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 beads, because we'll be going through the top hole and the bottom holes all the way across. All right, so just like this. And at this point, you see everything still kind of can lay to the side or fold up, and that's okay. So this is what we have so far. Now I'm going to pick up 3 size 11 seed beads, because now we have to make a little bridge from this hole to here. So I've got 3 11s, and I'm going to come through the middle holes of these 3 Navettes that are in place. Now, I said this in the previous live that got cut off, and I don't think I said this in this live. If you do not have green thread on the suede green and this cardamom color, I would use white thread or white fire line or crystal, whatever. On this color, I would use a darker fire line or darker color thread. So now we have to make the little bridge here. So I pick up 3 11s. And again, I'm going to go straight through this line of beads that I have in place. And thanks to everybody who jumped back on with me. Again, I'm so sorry that froze up and everybody kind of got lost. But now we have this. So again, we have to do a little bit of a step up. So I come through these 3 11s and then straight through my line of beads here. So I'm going to just pick it up and flip it. And I'll go through 3 beads and then straight through the line here. Now we're ready to step up to put some more Navettes in. So this is where we're going to 7 seed beads, and you can turn it and you can see I'm going to go through this open hole of the one that's already here. I tell you, I miss hanging out with you guys on these lives. I may have to do some more in the future because I really miss being able to hang out with you guys. We don't get to do that as much anymore. So I pick up a Navette and I go through the open hole of the next Navette. And then thread on one navette and go through the open hole of the next navette. So that now you can see we're getting to the top. We almost are to the top. So we have to put on 3 11s just like we have here. So 3 11s. My needle is coming out of this top hole of this navette, so I'm going to come through the middle holes here. And like I said, it's easier on this small one because you can kind of pick it up and move it around. The bigger one's a little bit harder to, oh, wrong. Yep, right holes. The bigger one is a little bit harder to pick it up and move it. Okay, so we're trucking right along. So now remember, we've got to come around to get up here. So I'm going to go through 3 11s and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of my Navettes because we're going straight through the holes we've already been through. And you see, I'm kind of pushing that 11 that's here. I'm kind of pushing it down. Angelica says, what about putting a little tree skirt around the stem? You definitely, absolutely could do that. And who knows, we may come down and do that on this one. And we may outline it in gold just to see what it would look like. So right here, I'm going to pick up 3 11s. And I'm going to take my needle and I'm going to come from this hole up to here and go through these 2 beads. So we're down to 2 Navettes now. And it helps just to put your finger on there and pull that thread through, just like I'm showing you here. And then we have to pick up 3 11s. And again, we want it to be symmetrical, so we've got to come down and go through. And if they kind of stick out like this, you can take and do it just like that. Okay, I'm going to take my needle and I'm going to go up through the 3 11s and then through these 2 beads here. And let's see, Rebecca says this is her first time watching live because it is 9:10 p.m. in India. Well, thank you so much for joining us. Welcome to your first live with us. We have an awesome group of people who hang out here on the lives. So, okay, we're almost there, guys. So I'm going to pick up 3 of these 11s, and I'm going to come through the top hole of the Navette. And remember, I'm working back in that other direction. I'm going to thread on 1 Navette, and again, check the holes. Not that I would ever not check those holes. And we put it in here, and now we are down to our 1 bead. And oh my goodness, you guys, we are getting a tree. Look at this symmetrical. So I'm going to pick up 3 11 and I'm going to go through the 2 Navettes. I am so glad you guys like the Christmas tree. And like I said, I don't know if I was saying this earlier, and we'll talk about it, but you know, if you're not into a Christmas tree, like you don't celebrate Christmas, you can always do like I did here on this one, where I didn't really put anything on the tree. I put no swags or anything. It's just a plain tree. And you can see in this color, it looks fantastic. So if you maybe do not celebrate Christmas, or, you know, if you're Jewish and you celebrate Hanukkah, you could even do these in blue, and that would be really pretty, like blue and white. So there's lots of options. It doesn't have to be a Christmas tree. So now I'm going to go through 3 of these 11s. And then through these 3 beads, because I'm going to go straight across. All right, we're almost to the top. So I'm going to pick up 3 11s. And I'm going to come through the middle hole here at the top, and I'm going back the other direction. So I'm just going to come just like this. Pick up 3 11s. And come through the beads just like this. Now, an important little thing for you guys to know before I tell you, I'm going to tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to go through these three and then through this Navette. For my friends who are watching in the UK and over in Europe, I know that shipping to this state or from the United States is insane. These Navette beads, as of right now, are distributed through the Beadsmith company. So one option that you have is if you don't want to pay the shipping for Navette beads, you can always contact the Beadsmith company directly, and they can tell you who sells them in Europe or wherever you're closest to. They can actually tell you that. So just you can send them an email through their website. So now I have 3 11s. I'm going to step up through the top hole here of my single Navette. And then 3 11s. And I'm going to come through this here. And I don't know, you could also check for my European friends. You could also check out Spoilt Rotten Beads over in the UK. I'm not sure if they carry them, but definitely try them because they're an awesome store that I do some stuff with. So definitely. So I'm coming out here and I'm just going to go up through 3 of these beads. All right, now we've been picking up everything in 3s, but this one step is going to be different. 4, 11, all the way around. We've done 3. We're doing 4 here. So I'm here. I'm going to skip this and I'm going to come over to this side. Now, when I come over to this side, I'm going to work my way down through these beads. All right, so I have people asking about, again, can they use a different bead? You can, but there are already patterns out there with gem duos and super duo Christmas trees. They only have 2 holes. These have 3 holes, so they're a little bit different to work with. All right, so just be aware of that there's always already some great Christmas tree patterns with gem duos, super duos, things like that. All right, so I'm going to continue to come down through here. Now, here's what you need to know about this. If you pull this thread super tight, you may notice that this top bead has moved to the side. You do not want to pull these threads tight. You only want to pull them enough to go through the beads. If you pull it super tight, you're going to pull this top bead to the side and it's going to look like a Whoville Christmas tree. All right, so we want to keep it kind of straight up like this. So I'm going to thread straight through this bottom row of beads. And at any point that you want to, and I think I'll go ahead and do it right this second, I can pull off this little stop bead here, and I can get rid of that stop bead. So I can just pull it off, thread the needle, and then I will go up through 3 11s. Make a little half-hitch knot right here. Then I will come through my line of beads. I'll put a little half-hitch knot here between the beads. And then once I do that, I'll go ahead and I'll go through these 11s, and then I'm ready to trim off this thread. Of course, if you wanted to, you could definitely do more knots, but it's really not required because you are going to go through this thing so many times. Now I'm going to take my needle and I'm going to come up through all the beads on this side as well. And again, I don't want to pull the thread tight. I just want to pull it enough that I can get through the beads. If you pull it too tight, you're also going to have trouble getting through it when we go to make the little swags on the tree. And again, we do have the pattern available for the small tree, which I'm showing you today. We have it on the website as an instant download and as a printed pattern. And the large tree will be a video tomorrow. And we do have the instant download pattern and the printed pattern, again, available on the website at offthebeadedpathbeadstore.com. So once I've gone all the way around, I'm going to come out of these top 2 center beads here on the top of the piece and pull this through. So I'm going to pick up 6 11s. So 2, 3, 3, 4, 5, 6. Rebecca, if when this finishes, you can go back and watch the replay. I have shown the measurements of the Navette and the measurements of this. So you can see my thread is coming out this way. I'm going to come around and I'm going to go back through these same 2 beads again to make the circle. Now, when you make this little loop, you can make this loop bigger. Say if you're going to hang this as a Christmas ornament, you can make it smaller. You can kind of do whatever you want. And I'm just doing a little general loop, but honestly, you can put whatever kind of loop or bail you would like on this piece. And once I finish this part, I'm going to go through these 2 beads again. Now comes the fun part of our project. So when I do this part, this is where we're going to be adding the swag. Every person's swag on their tree is going to look different, because you may put more swags, you may put less swags, or like I said, you may choose not to have any swags at all and leave it like this. So this is completely up to you. I'm going to show you a general idea. And so if I'm going to make this into a Christmas tree, now I'm going to have to make sure to kind of count the beads here on the side and make sure that I'm going through the exact same beads on both sides. So on this one, I've added my beads, and you can see I've went through 1, 2, 3, like the 4th bead. And then if I flip it over here and I count, I've gone through 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So you can count the beads on the side, and you can count the beads that you added here if you want to make them into symmetrical earrings for this piece. Or, like I said, if you want to flip it over and add the swags and you want them to be identical, again, you can just count to what you've done. Now, I will tell you, if you put the swags, don't leave them loose. You want to kind of pull them through so that they lay up against your Navettes. Originally, I tried to lay, I think it's this one, I tried to leave them a little bit more loose. The looser you leave them, the more likely they're going to get caught on something, and or they're going to get caught on, if you make it into an ornament, like a tree branch or something like that, and it could pull apart and break. So I like to put them, you can see here, there's not much play in it. And so that's what we're going to do today. So I'm just going to kind of show you what I do. And again, I just have a random little assortment of 3 millimeters. So I'm going to pick up 2 11s, a 3 millimeter, and 1 11. And I'm going to flip it this way. And so I'm coming out on this side, so I'm going to flip it this way. I'm going to count down 4, 1, 2, and I'm going to do just that 4th bead there. So that it lays on top just like this. Now, how the pattern that you do, again, is completely up to you, whether you pick up 1 seed bead, 2 seed beads, 3 seed beads. Like I change it up constantly. So maybe this go round, I'll pick up 3 seed beads, a crystal, and 1 seed bead. Now, how you can tell if it's going to lay across or lay and look good is you can take and you can put your beads on and lay them out where you want them to lay. So if you want them to have a sharp diagonal like this, you may need to add a few more beads to get to the bead that you want to. I don't want it to be a really sharp contrast. So I'm just made, like I said, count over 7. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And I'll put my needle through just that 7th bead. Now, when you pull it through, if you don't like the way it looks, pull your needle off and then pull it out. Joy just asked a great question. Can you use small drops for the ornaments? Absolutely. That is a great question, Joy. You can use pretty much whatever kind of smaller, or like she said, a little drop. Maybe like a little 3.4 drop would be really cute, or something to that effect. But yes, you can absolutely use some little drops or something like that in place of the bicones for the ornaments. You can use, if you have a little round bead would be really cute to do as well. So it's a little fire polish bead, whatever. Okay. And again, if I lay the beads on there, I'm just going to kind of lay it out where I want it to go on the tree, like how far I want it to drape up or down, and then I will go through that bead. So without even counting, I've just laid it out, and I know I'm going to go through this one. So that's exactly kind of what you'll want to do to play with these little swags. And like this one, there we go. I was going to say I may need more, but nope, that was pretty good. So I'm just going to continue really quickly to add some swags on here. The colors, just because I know somebody's going to ask, the colors that come in the kit. So if you get the kit, you get enough beads to make one tree. It can be a large tree or a small tree. You're going to get enough beads that you can do either one of those. But the colors that come in the kit are citrine, light cyan, fuchsia, emerald, and sapphire. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yes, like a sapphire. I ran out up here on my desk, so I'm just using what I've got here. Okay, I'm going to pick up one more 11, and then I think I'll come through this bead. So again, it's fun. Okay, I hope we're back. All right, yay. Yes, video froze. Sorry about that, guys. I think that's a YouTube issue, not a Kelly issue this time. Oh, so like I said, you could even take, or what I was saying before it froze was if you wanted to, you could take and you could hang a little, I've got several Hanukkah charms here you could hang, or you could just do anything. The great thing about these is you can just play with it and just have a good time with these little trees. I cannot wait to see. So if the video is still frozen for you, go ahead. I would just log out and log back in. If you're watching live, just go out and go back into it because it's back up and running. All right, so last one, I'm going to pull this out here. So I'm just going to come out down here near the bottom. Now, normally I would not do this step. Somebody said, I don't remember if it was in this video or the previous live that I had going. They wondered if you come down and you skirted this. So if we put some 11s down through here. So I tell you what I'm going to do. I'm just going to play and we'll see what we can come up with. The pattern itself is not going to have this step on it, but we're going to see what we can do. So I'm going to come from this bottom bead here. Well, I may have to do a different color. I don't think I have any gold left up here. Let me see. All right, so, oh, yes, I do. It may be a different color gold, but that'll be all right. This one's for me anyway, so it's okay. So from here down at the bottom, I'm going to pick up 3, since we're on our little 3 kick here. I'm going to pick up 3 11s, and I'm going to go through my 8. There we go. And then I'm going to pick up 3 11s, and I'm going to go through the top hole of my Navette, my brown one. All right, so I might go back and I might only do two right here because it makes it look too much like a peacoat. So I might only do the 2. And if you don't love what I'm doing, since I'm just kind of doing this on the fly, you can always stop, because normally at this point I would stop and come. Okay, so I'm only going to do 2 here. All right, that'll kind of work. So now I'm going to do 3 11s, and I'm going to come through the bottom hole of or the middle hole of my Navette. 3 11s, and I'm going to come down through this bottom hole. I'm going to do 3 11s and come through the middle hole. And then I'm going to come down through here, and I'm going to put some 11s down here. I'm not sure I'm loving the 11s down here around this part. Not sure if I'm loving that at all. But I do like them down here at the bottom. So if you wanted to, you could kind of skirt them on the bottom. So I put on 3 at the very bottom down here. Now I'm going to put on, I think I'm only going to put on 2, and I'm going to go through that 1 11 and then the Navette and see what that looks like. Yeah, I don't know if I'm loving this down here. And this is just me personally. I'm just not loving that bottom part. There's definitely, you could go back and you could put some little 11s down here to outline the bottom. And I think I may do that. Me personally, completely personal opinion, I do not like the gold beads around the brown. But now there are definitely some other little things that you could probably do and really enjoy the look of that. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to finish this one out really quick with the 11 beads here at the bottom. And this could be something, if you have enough thread left, which I've got plenty left here, you could do this and it would work out really well to do it this way. Or you could leave enough of your short tail thread that you started with. This could be what you do with that short tail thread. So I'm going to pick up 3 here. And boom. That would be what it would look like if we outlined the whole tree itself. And I think I actually really like this, outlining the whole tree. So I'll show you, this is without the outline of the bottom, and this is with the outline of the bottom of the tree. So I think it's really, you can play with it. You'll have enough seed beads if you purchase a kit, so you really could play with it and see what you like the most. So again, just in case you missed it, I will show you the finished size of our tree here. I'll flip that over so you can see. And then, come out here. And then the size of your Navette is about 1/2 inch. Or if I flip it over this way so you can see the centimeters there of the bead. So that'll give you an idea of the size of that Navette bead. So I'm going to flip the camera around really quickly, so everybody just hang out with me for 1 second there. There we go. All right, so thank you so much for joining me for the small tree. And thanks for hanging out with me as we played on the bottom to kind of add that little extra on the bottom. I think it really does make a big difference in the way it looks. So we have the small tree pattern and the large tree pattern available on our website at offthebeadedpathbeadstore.com. The small tree is 8 pages. The big tree is 10 pages. And just to kind of give you an idea, they have really nice, big, large pictures with arrows so that you can see how it looks. Another thing that we have are kits. The kits have enough beads in them to do either a large tree or a small tree, not both of them. One of the trees, large or small, but you get both of the patterns in the kit. So you get both the small and the large, so you can make whichever one you want. And again, these are available as an instant download or as a printed pattern where we will mail it to your home. Now, another thing you need to know is I know that you guys seen these trees last week when I posted, and you've really enjoyed the trees because you bought a ton of Navettes over the weekend to kind of prep for this. With our kits, if I sell out of kits immediately today, I'm going to add the kits as a pre-order kit, which means I've already got more beads ordered, and as soon as those beads come in, we'll make your kits and we will mail them out. So you'll actually go ahead and buy it and we'll mail it out. And now that is just for this week, which is the week of July 19th, 2021. The last year just kind of left me. So yeah, so that's what we're going to do. And again, right now they don't have a ton of green Navettes, but hopefully in the future they will do some more green Navettes, and we will be able to have some even cooler trees. So please, 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 if you do some alterations to the tree or you do something really cool that you think you want me to see or others to see, please make sure to email that to me or post it in our Facebook group. If you are friends with us in our group, we would love to see these trees. So guys, you guys have a fabulous day. Again, thank you for hanging out with me. For those who are live with the technical difficulty earlier, I really appreciate you hanging out. And make sure to come back tomorrow on Tuesday, which is the 20th of July 2021, because I will have the video for the large tree uploaded, and you'll see what you need to do to change to make that look fantastic. So guys, again, thank you so much for watching. We'll see you again next time. Bye bye.